Portions of the following live telecasts have been pre-recorded.
Live from Hollywood, The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, the 25th anniversary. This is Ed McMahon along with Doc Severinsen and the NBC Orchestra inviting you to join Johnny as we celebrate 25 years of late-night entertainment featuring Groucho Marx, Red Skelton, Jack Benny, George Burns, Bob Hope, Pearl Bailey, Jack Webb, Ronald Reagan, Richard Nixon, Martin Luther King Jr., Robert Kennedy, Judy Garland, Liza Minnelli, Lena Horne, Diana Ross, the Jackson 5, Tina Turner, Paul Simon, Itzhak Perlman, Luciano Pavarotti, Ed Ames, Steve Martin, David Letterman, Jay Leno, Gary Shandling, Eddie Murphy, Buddy Rich, Benny Goodman, Louis Armstrong, Fred Astaire. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Johnny.
Don't do that. Look, that is very sweet of you, and I'm very grateful, but I want to ask you something honestly. Did you intentionally stand, or were you thrown out of your seats? I want to thank you for coming tonight. I want to thank all the people for joining us for our 25th. I want to thank especially the state of California for the special salute this morning in honor of our 25th. I thought it was a little overly dramatic, but it was nice, you know. By the way, for you people seated here tonight, in case there is an aftershock, the seats in front of you are equipped with an airbag. So, God, where in the hell is the Pope when we need him? And it is not true, no matter what you read, that in case of an earthquake, that you crowd under the host. You don't know. Look at it this way. If I go tonight, at least I'm dressed for it. Now, you may... No, don't. You may wonder why, and we're all wearing formal attire tonight. Well, tuxedos are generally worn for joyous celebrations or very solemn occasions, so I'm ready, and it's really up to you. Out-of-towners here this evening? Your timing is impeccable. Where are you going next? To the Straits of Hormuz for the minesweeping? I remembered the earthquake training, which they do have in California, and it was great for the people out here. They say, stand under an arch during a quake. And I did. I felt like an idiot at McDonald's in my underwear, standing in people's driving through. And if you can't, they say, stand in the doorway. Did any of you do that this morning? Stand in the doorway. Do you realize that when the big one comes, the only survivors are going to be Amway salesmen and Jehovah's Witnesses? And all the experts say animals are the first to notice that a quake is coming. I should have been tipped off yesterday. My cat was stuffing a backpack with tender victuals. This is a strange state. I mean, The Raiders moved to Irwindale, and today Irwindale moved to Pacoima. Oral Roberts felt the quake this morning. He was in bed, turned to his wife and said, "Oh, hell, honey, the check must have bounced." Anyway, I thank you. This is a special evening for us. We hope it's going to be special for you. I know this is going to be a great show tonight because William Casey told me before he died. Now, people are not used to seeing me in prime time. You know, we're on late at night. Now, can you imagine President Reagan tuning in now, saying to Nancy, "Well, it's 11:30. I should have been asleep 2 hours ago." It is hard to believe that I have been with NBC for 25 long years. You cannot... No, wait a minute. You can't buy loyalty like that, but they did. To think back to 1962, 25 years ago, do you realize Tammy Baker was wearing training eyelashes? And I think the biggest change that 25 years ago, the most dangerous part of sex was the cigarette afterwards. Would you have believed that 25 years ago, that now, today, in '87, we'd be seeing condom ads on television? Now, the next time you hear Ed say, on your way home, pick up a six-pack, he may not be referring to Budweiser, so... Do you realize I've said to Bob Hope 3,000 times, "Well, I know you got to run, Bob." You know, the good news is I've been doing the show for 25 years. The bad news, I can now get into the movies for half price. Anyway, we're going to keep this short. We're going to keep this short. We got a lot of great things for you. By the way, for those of you who are tuning in late, this monologue will be repeated tomorrow in its entirety during the Bork hearings by Senator Joseph Biden. So, tune in. Thank you for being with us. We'll be back in just a moment.
Tonight, Johnny Carson's 25th anniversary special is sponsored by Chrysler, driving to be the best, and Plymouth, where the pride's inside. Chrysler Plymouth, we're working together to be the best. And by Seiko, it's just your style.
My dad has 2, my brother has 1, I now have 3, Mom has 2.
I had it 2 years, and it's going to be 3 years in December.
Almost 5 years.
For 10 years.
No problems whatsoever.
No problem.
Absolutely none.
Worth every penny.
Every dime.
It's more reliable than my husband. My husband's not around anymore, but my Seiko is.
Seiko.
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 Seiko. It's just your style.
It's perfect. It is.
The pride's inside.
Plymouth Sundance. The pride's inside. Designed in and built in. Pride's in the performance, precision handling, front-wheel drive, fuel-injected turbo. Pride's in its quality, backed for 7 years or 70,000 miles. 47 quality standard features. Plymouth Sundance. The pride's inside before you're inside.
The pride's inside. Born in America.
We have spent a lot of these evenings together, and I want to say it now in case we get bunched together and the end of the show comes. I cannot imagine doing this show without you. You have been an absolute rock all these years. You've made it easy for me, and I just wouldn't do it if you weren't here. I want you to know that.
Nice to be here.
And I do a lot of other people will thank later. Now, Where were you during this morning's
I was
earthquake?
listening to the speakers, you know, and the little Catherine Mary was getting up, and I could hear her rustling in the room. I was just about to go down and get her.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, and then I ran down to get her.
If there is an aftershock during this show, by the way, you should get under the desk. This is my desk. I have a desk. You folks don't have a desk, so you'll see me. Anyway, we have a lot of things to show you tonight. The difficult part of this show was trying to decide what not to show or what to show. Some of the things we have shown before, people want to see them because they are kind of a part of history. Now, when I was growing up in the Midwest, and I was a young kid, I would tune in all the great radio shows and listen to all the great radio comedians, you know, from the 40s and the 50s. Never occurred to me I would ever meet some of those people. Occurred to me less I would become good friends with most of them, and least of all that I would ever have a television show in which they would come here and sit in this chair. So the first thing we're going to show you are 5 of the giants in comedy: Groucho Marx, Red Skelton, Jack Benny, George Burns, and Bob Hope. Groucho goes back to, I think, 65 was the first time he was on the show. So watch the monitor, and here are some of the great comedians of our generation.
How are you? In addition to that, who are you? Which is even more important.
Carol Andreessen.
You're Joanne who?
Carol Andreessen.
Carol Andreessen. You 2 different girls?
Yes.
Say the secret word and Groucho will come to your house. I see. My dressing room isn't good enough for her.
My patients are in the hospital.
Your patients are in the hospital?
Right.
Oh,
I don't make alcohol.
Are you a physician?
No, I'm a registered nurse.
Oh, really? Where are you registered? Any place where I can...
Clem. They like Clem Cadiddlehopper because, Well, sir, since I saw you last, I got married. I had a military wedding. There were guns there, let's put it that way. I met my wife through her brother. He says to me, would you like to meet one of my sisters? I said, you got sisters? He says, I got 2. One's name's Lassie and the other's Hortense. I said, Lassie's a dog. He says, wait till you see Hortense.
Give me A, will you please? That's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to play the Mendelssohn Concerto, which runs 45 minutes. Do you know the vamp of it? Can you vamp already? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Try it. Do you know it? Not even my violin, you know. Is there any other selection?
A sweet young girl was jilted by her husband. He left her and he went his merry way. With tearful eyes she wrote a final letter in which her broken heart had this to say: I'm returning every present that you gave me. I'm sending back each letter that you wrote. Every sweet memento that we cherished. The locket that I wore around my throat. Enclosed you'll find the mortgage on the house, dear. That I'm fair, you must admit is true. I'm returning everything except the baby. That's the one thing that I didn't get from you, isn't that sad?
Many's the time that we feasted. Many's the time that we fasted. You really got me working tonight.
You betcha.
Oh, well, it was swell while it lasted. We did have fun and no harm done. So thanks for the memory. Sunburns at the shore, nights in Singapore. You might have had a headache, but you never were a bore. So thank you so